You've tuned in to the Nunes Newscast, available on the Devin Nunes YouTube channel, iTunes, and wherever you get podcasts. Here's your host, Devin Nunes.
This is a special edition of the Devin Nunes Newscast, the history of Antifa. America's cities have endured a summer of anarchy, from Minneapolis to Chicago to Portland. Radical leftists have burned, looted, and rioted while protected by Democrat mayors and governors. The vanguard of these lawless rioters is Antifa, a group of left-wing extremists who attack their political opponents and police officers to advance their socialist agenda. Despite Antifa's obvious involvement in the recent rioting, Democrats like New York's Jerry Nadler pretend Antifa doesn't even exist.
It is true. There's violence across the whole country. Do you disavow the violence from Antifa that's happening in Portland right now? There's riots.
That's a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
About Antifa in Portland?
Yes.
Sir, there's videos everywhere online. There's fires and riots. They're throwing fireworks at federal officers. DHS is there. Look online. It gets crazy, Mr. Nadler.
So who are Antifa, and why do Democrats run cover for them? Antifa has a dark history. As Germany's Weimar Republic collapsed in the 1930s, extremist political groups fought in the streets to secure political power. One of the primary combatants was the Communist Party of Germany, which founded a street fighting unit called Anti-Fascist Action. That's right. Antifa was the communist paramilitary street gang. After World War II, Antifa found new life in the United States punk music scene in the late 80s and 90s, under the pretense of fighting neo-Nazis and white supremacy. These punk music bands joined with some young communist revolutionaries tied to the domestic terror group Weather Underground to form Anti-Racist Action, or the ARA. The ARA has deep ties to other revolutionary communist groups, including the May 19th Communist Organization, which was home to various prominent domestic terrorists. The group committed numerous bombings and robberies and endorsed communist takeovers in Latin America. A common theme for these communist groups was to use anti-racism as a front to commit violent criminal acts, much like Antifa does. Today's Antifa are direct descendants of these domestic communist groups. In fact, members of these older groups joined forces in 2013 and founded Torch Antifa, one of the largest networks of Antifa groups in the United States. Through large, loose networks like Torch Antifa, smaller groups of Antifa radicals have staged violent attacks and riots with little accountability in these Democratic-run cities. In fact, Democrats have encouraged Antifa as they terrorize cities such as Berkeley, Portland, Minneapolis, and Kenosha. See for yourself.
This is mostly a protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protesters.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
A more peaceful night of protesting.
Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
But when we allow white nationalists and white supremacists to infiltrate our peaceful protests,
this is, I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
From the 1930s Germany to today, Antifa's goal has not changed: to instigate a violent communist revolution. However, President Trump, Attorney General Barr, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security are working to bring an end to Antifa's control of the streets and restore law and order to our nation. The world has enough failed communist hellscapes, and we cannot allow the radical left and their Antifa street fighters to transform the United States into another one. This is Devin Nunes. Thank you for listening.